You are born as the son of a billionaire. You open your eyes for the first time in a secret medical suite hidden inside of a hospital, not accessible to the public. It is the Founder's Wing, a sealed environment funded entirely by a donation from your grandfather made 2 decades ago. It seems like the cleanest room in the world. The obstetrician who brings you into the world isn't merely a doctor. He is a department chair who flew in from a conference in Geneva specifically for this morning. His fee for this single delivery exceeds what the attending nurses will earn in the next 10 years combined. Your first breath isn't greeted by the warmth of your mother's chest, but by the mechanical shutter click of a camera. A press release announcing your arrival has been drafted, approved by legal, and distributed to the wire services before your umbilical cord has even been cut. Your father is present. He stands by the window, silhouetted against the city skyline, wearing a bespoke suit and speaking in low, urgent tones into a satellite phone. The stock markets are opening, and there's a liquidity crisis that requires his immediate, undivided attention. He pauses just long enough to look at you, a red, screaming biological asset. He touches your forehead with a sanitized finger to acknowledge the acquisition, and then steps out into the hallway to close the deal. By the time you're 24 months old, you have a trust fund established in the Cook Islands, a dual citizenship arrangement pending in Malta, and a dedicated security detail. You are already worth more than the entirety of a small Pacific nation. You didn't choose any of this. You didn't earn a cent of it. But the machinery of capital has already swallowed you whole. Your childhood unfolds in a series of climate-controlled environments that you assume constitute the entire world. Home is a 35,000 square foot compound in Greenwich, or perhaps a brutalist concrete fortress in Malibu. The location is irrelevant because the interior is always the same. Silent, marble-floored, and maintained at a crisp, museum-quality 68 degrees. You have a mother, a woman of sharp angles and impeccable public relations training. She loves you, you think, but she loves her schedule more. She is the CEO of the family's philanthropy arm, a role that requires her to be perpetually getting ready for the gala. The board dinner, the ribbon-cutting ceremony, whatever it is. Your actual mother figures are a rotating cast of women named Inez, Sarah, or Magda. They are the staff. They are the only ones that know you're afraid of the dark. They're the ones who teach you to tie your shoes and wipe your tears. But you learn your first lesson in human capital management at age 4. You bond deeply with Inez. She is warm, she smells like vanilla and laundry detergent, she feels like safety. Then, one Tuesday, she is simply gone. When you ask where she went, your father's personal assistant offers a vague, corporate euphemism about her moving to new opportunities. The truth is that she asked for a raise, or was seen on a security camera taking yogurt from the main fridge, and that's hidden from you. You learn early that in your world, people are not permanent fixtures. They are service providers. Emotional attachment to the staff is considered a weakness, a strategic error that leads to inefficiency. You don't have playdates, you have networking activations. Your 7th birthday is approaching, and you express a desire for a superhero party. Your mother nods, checks her device, and offers a non-committal response. 2 days later, you find yourself in a meeting. Not with your parents, but with Chloe, the lifestyle manager for the family office. She treats your birthday with the seriousness of a product launch, taking notes on the tablet and asking you to articulate your vision for the event. The party happens 3 weeks later. It is a spectacle of excess that would bankrupt a small town. There are acrobats from Cirque du Soleil performing on the lawn. There's a petting zoo where the animals have been shampooed and perfumed. But as you look around, you realize you don't know a single child there. They are the children of your father's business partners, the son of the senator who regulates your father's industry, the daughter of the oil tycoon that your father is courting for a joint venture. You stand in the corner, holding a slice of cake dusted with edible gold, watching a stranger dressed up as Spider-Man do backflips. You feel a profound, hollow loneliness, surrounded by people who are technically your peers, but actually your competitors. Your father makes an appearance for exactly 14 minutes. He hands you a box containing a vintage Patek Philippe, instructing you to keep it safe because it is expected to appreciate 12% by the time you turn 18. He poses for a photo with you, just for proof that he was actually there, and then retreats to his study. The heavy oak door clicks shut behind him. That click becomes the defining soundtrack for your youth. You begin to notice the invisible barrier between you and the rest of the human race. You are 8 years old, sitting in the back of the Maybach. You see a family walking on the sidewalk, eating ice cream cones, laughing, dropping napkins. They look messy, they look chaotic, they look alive. You ask the driver if you can stop for ice cream. He doesn't say no, he simply explains that such a stop is not on the itinerary and that the establishment hasn't been vetted for hygiene or security risks. Your life is frictionless. You never wait in line, you never touch the handle of a door because it opens before you arrive. You never experience the sensation of wanting something and not getting it, which means you never experience the satisfaction of earning anything. You travel constantly, but you never actually go anywhere. You move from the private terminal in Teterboro to the private terminal in Farnborough. You take the helicopter to the yacht, which is just a floating version of your house. You eat the same food prepared by the same chef, watching the same satellite TV channels. You are a citizen of nowhere, living in the global high altitude zone, a nation state that exists only at 40,000 feet. At 13, you are sent away. Boarding school in Switzerland. The tuition is higher than the annual earnings of a specialized neurosurgeon. The campus looks like a 5-star ski resort, pristine and isolated. This is where you meet your peers, and the true horror of your existence sets in. You are surrounded by the children of oligarchs, tech moguls, and royalty. They are just like you, damaged, arrogant, and terrifyingly lonely. You quickly learn the social hierarchy. It isn't about who's the smartest, the funniest, or the most athletic. It is about the nature of the capital. You are judged on whether or not your family is liquidity rich or asset rich. You are sneered at by a Russian boy whose father deals in aluminum and cash, while you are merely in real estate. You learn to assess every person you meet as a liability or an asset. You learn that the friendship is transactional. If you befriend the son of the media mogul, you gain access to the film premieres. If you befriend the daughter of the shipping magnate, you secure weekends in Monaco. You start to curate your social circle like it's a portfolio manager balancing risk, discarding anyone who doesn't offer a return on investment. At 16, you make your first mistake. You get drunk on vintage champagne stolen from the headmaster's cellar and crash a borrowed Audi into a stone wall in the village. In a normal life, this is the moment you learn about consequences. You would face the police, call your parents in shame, and deal with the fallout. In your life, the fixer arrives before the ambulance. He's a nondescript man in a gray suit who speaks to the police in Swiss German and hands over a thick envelope. He speaks to the owner of the wall and hands over another envelope. You are whisked away to a private clinic for observation. By the morning, the car is gone. The police report has vanished. There is no record of the night. The fixer informs you calmly that the event never happened, advising you to be more careful next time solely because cleanup is expensive. You realize that you are legally invincible. Laws are for poor people, but for you, laws are just fines, and fines are just the cost of doing business. This realization rots something inside of you. If actions have no consequences, they have no meaning. You return home for the holidays. The house is vast, silent, and echoing. You crave a conversation with your father, not about markets or your trust performance, but about you, about the girl you like, or the strange emptiness you feel at night. You walk to his study door. Marcus, his chief of staff, interrupts you. Marcus has been with the family for 25 years and knows your social security number, your allergies, your blood type better than your mother does. He informs you gently that your father is on a conference call with a sovereign wealth fund and cannot be disturbed. When you plead for just a moment to say hello, Marcus suggests the only reliable method of communication with him: email. So you retreat to your room, down the long, art-filled hallway, and you email your own father, who is sitting 50 feet away, asking if you can have dinner together. 4 hours later, you receive a reply. It comes from his executive assistant. It states that your father is unavailable tonight due to an acquisition closing, but he has a 20-minute window for breakfast on Thursday at 6:45 a.m. before his flight to Davos. You confirm the appointment. You show up at 6:45 a.m. He is there, eating a grapefruit and reading a dossier. He doesn't look up. He asks about your grades in terms of optimization and network building. He advises you to focus only on classmates whose fathers can be strategically useful. He speaks to you not as a son, but as a junior executive he is mentoring. He checks his watch, stands up, and leaves. You are left with the grapefruit. and silence. You go to university, Ivy League, naturally. A building on campus is named after your grandfather. You have a different attitude this time because you're alone for the first time ever. You try to rebel. You try to be normal. You wear t-shirts with holes in them. You try to take the subway, but you don't know how. You stand at the turnstile, confused by the machine, holding up the line until people yell at you. You feel a panic attack setting in because you've never had to operate the basic machinery of survival. You retreat to your apartment, a penthouse your parents bought for you so you could focus on your studies without distractions. You take a sociology class where the professor discusses the minimum wage. You raise your hand and genuinely ask why the working class doesn't simply invest their savings in an index fund to let that compound interest to solve their poverty. The room goes silent. The student next to you looks at you with pure disgust, whispering that people need to eat before they can invest. You don't understand. To you, money is like air. It's just there. The idea that you could run out or that you have to trade hours for your life to get it is a theoretical concept you cannot grasp. You try to date. You meet a girl in your art history class who is real. Her father's a dentist, she drives an old Honda, and she laughs with her whole face. You fall for her because she treats you like a human being, not a wallet. But the paranoia sets in, a poison your father planted in your brain. You wonder if she loves you, or if she loves the money. You bring her home, your mother scans her outfit, identifies the department store brands, and dismisses her entirely. Your father runs a background check on her family without telling you. Later, in the library, he informs you that she is not a strategic fit because her family has debt, and she's a liability. When you protest that she is a person, he calmly replies that everything is a balance sheet, and that you need a partner who brings capital or connections. You don't even break up with her. You simply let the relationship atrophy, ghosting her because you lack the courage to explain that she has been deemed an unrecoverable asset. Years later, you meet the right one. She is the daughter of a European media tycoon. It is a union of empires. Then comes the prenuptial agreement. It is 180 pages long. It is not a romantic document. It is a declaration of war. It stipulates weight gain penalties. It outlines a tiered vesting schedule for alimony. She gets a certain amount if she lasts 5 years, double if she produces a son rather than a daughter. You present it to her and she doesn't blink. She hands it to her lawyers and they negotiate the terms of your love life for 3 weeks. You get married in a ceremony that costs $12 million. You look her in the eyes at the altar and see a reflection of yourself, a terrified person playing a role in a very expensive play. You enter the family business. You have to. The outside world scares you because you don't have the skills to survive in a meritocracy. You are given a title like Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives. You sit in a corner office with a view of the skyline, complete with a secretary and a schedule of meetings. But you realize quickly that you are a mascot. The real work is done by the CFO, the COO, and the hungry men and women who fought their way up from nothing. They look at you with polite contempt. They know you're there because of your DNA. You try to pitch an idea, a pivot to sustainable energy. The CFO smiles, that shark-like smile, and explains that while it's a lovely sentiment, it would impact the quarterly EBITDA, and the shareholders would revolt. You realize that the company is a beast that cannot be steered. It exists to feed itself. You are not the owner, you are the caretaker. And then you learn about the dark side. You sit in a risk management meeting and learn about the lithium mines in Africa. You see photos of the working conditions. You see the pollution reports from the factories in Southeast Asia. When you ask if this is legal, the general counsel adjusts his glasses and assures you that it is compliant with local regulations, noting that a budget has been allocated for regulatory friction, a polite euphemism for bribery. You realize your entire life, the jets, the penthouses, the vintage wine, is built on a foundation of the misery you are insulated from. You are the beneficiary of a global extraction machine. You try to wash the guilt off in the shower, but the water comes from a gold-plated fixture, and the irony chokes you. You are 40 now. You have children, 2 boys. You vow to be different. You vow to be present, but you are busy. The empire requires maintenance. You are always on the phone. You look at your 6-year-old son throwing a tantrum because the Wi-Fi on the Gulfstream is slow. He screams at the flight attendant, demanding she fix it and asks if she knows who his father is. You freeze. You hear your own voice coming out of his mouth. You have created a monster. You try to teach him value. You take him to the charity event and hand out turkeys at a shelter for 1 hour on Thanksgiving. He asks why the people don't just order food on an app. You look at him and you don't have enough energy to explain. You are tired. You realize you're becoming your father. The transformation is almost complete. Your father is 82. He refuses to die. He refuses to retire. He is a tyrant who summons you to meetings just to humiliate you, telling the board that you lack the killer instinct. He pits you against your siblings in a gladiatorial combat for his affection, which is really just combat for his equity. You spend your middle age waiting for your father to die. The horror of that thought sits in your stomach like lead. Your financial and professional independence is predicated on the death of your parent. You check his health updates with a mix of concern and calculation, noting his frailty with a hint of disappointment in your own voice that makes you hate yourself. The call comes at 3:15 a.m. Marcus, now an old man himself, informs you that it is time. Your father is gone. You don't feel grief, you feel a massive, terrifying release of pressure, followed by a crushing weight. The funeral is not a goodbye, it's a networking summit. Senators and competitors crowd the cathedral. They shake your hand, they look you into your eyes, they are measuring you. They're wondering if the kid can hold the line or if there is blood in the water. The stock price dips 3% on the news, then rallies when the board announces your appointment as chairman. The market has priced in your grief. You sit in his office. The leather chair is still molded to his shape. It smells like his cologne and old paper. You look at the desk, covered in stacks of reports, litigations, and the names of thousands of employees whose livelihoods depend on your decisions. You see the bribes that need to be paid and the politicians that need to be stroked. You are the king now, and you realize that the king is the ultimate prisoner. You cannot quit. You cannot sell. The tax implications would destroy the economy of a small state. You cannot leave. You are the custodian of the flame. You look out the window at the city below. The lights are twinkling. Millions of people living messy, struggling, real lives. They envy you. They dream of being you. They have no idea. Your phone buzzes. It's your son. He's 19 now. He's calling from Dubai. He's pain-stricken. He's been caught with drugs. He's begging you to use your influence to make the problem go away, to do what has always been done for you. You sigh. You press the button for the fixer. You give the order to handle it. You hang up. You are alone in your office. The silence is absolute. You have everything a human could possibly want except the one thing that matters, the freedom to walk away. You check the time. The Tokyo markets are opening. You pick up the phone to call the trading desk, and the cycle continues. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Checkbox and comment down below what you want us to make next. Thanks for watching.